Welcome to this edition of Scientific Audiophile. And Big Audio is pissed, and they're gunning for yours truly. Just days after Helmholtz and I shook the power cable industry to its foundations by telling you how to turn a generic power cable into a $20,000 power cable for under $10, Big Audio sent out the message to their shills to dwarf my powerful message. And we're not talking about some crappy YouTube channel with under 3,000 subscribers. We're talking about the big boys. Let me first say that there are reasons for spending money to upgrade your generic cables, such as getting cables that are more pliable, a better length or gauge for your needs, maybe in-wall rated, and if you live in an extreme location, extra shielding may be required. Let me say second, there are ways for a manufacturer to actually make their product sound different, but not make it sound better. The most common method is to put some type of filter into the cable. This change in the sound doesn't make the sound better, but it does make it sound different. So be aware that some of the big, really expensive cables, where people can actually hear a difference between the two, actually have a filter in them and maybe reduce the frequency by a significant amount so that a professional trained listener can actually hear the difference. But that means they're listening to a crappier sound and paying a lot of money for it. Listen to me right now. Cables, unless there's something actually wrong with the cable, don't make a difference. Now, I was expecting Big Audio to come after me, but I have to say I wasn't expecting it to be CheapAudioMan. And CheapAudioMan, who recommends the crappy sub $100 Sony CSS5 speakers to possibly be his favorite speakers ever. Then he backtracked and said they're probably not worth MSRP. Regardless, this is the guy whose entire channel is predicated on getting the best bang for the buck. So when Big Audio picked up Randy at CheapAudioMan to start shilling $150 power cables over the generic ones that come free with the product you buy, he jumped the shark.
Big improvement. The Audioquest NRG-Y3. There are a couple different versions of the power cords. I have one of these hooked up to my Apple TV 4K.
Wow. He's got a $150 power cable hooked up to his Apple TV because Apple provided a crappy cable and he just wasn't getting the video and audio quality he wanted from his Apple. Clearly, there's something wrong here. This needs to be AB, dude. You can't sit there and just say, oh, I hooked this up to my Apple TV. You'd be an idiot to think Apple hasn't supplied you with an adequate power supply and cable to run their product.
I think there's sonic improvements and sonic differences. I did a blind test between...
Whoa. He did a blind test. Now he's got me interested. Let's see the details of this blind test, because if Randy truly passed a blind test using power cables, Randy is the first person in human history, including yours truly, who can actually hear a difference between power cables. Let's find out how this blind test worked.
Between this and just a regular cable, and there was a big difference. I actually guessed the wrong one, though. I thought that the stock cable was the higher end cable, but
He thought the stock cable was the higher end cable, but let's continue recommending this $150 cable because, as I said before, the generic cables are just as good as anything else. And I don't know if Randy really knows what the word blind means. Did he do 100 tests? Did he do 20 tests? How many times did he get thinking the generic cable was wrong or right? 50-50, thinking that proves anything? Let's find out.
But there's definitely more bass coming out of these Audioquest cables than the other one.
Definitely had more bass. Oh man, I'm telling you now, if Randy can do this in a dog and pony show in front of people with a blind test, peer reviewed, he would make Audioquest hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's be clear. James Randi, bless his soul, offered $1 million to anyone who could hear the difference between a power cable or speaker cables, same gauge, no filters on them, and till the man passed away, no one was willing to take him up on his offer. No one was willing to go for a $1 million challenge because I think they knew that they wouldn't pass. But he did a blind test, and we're going to get the details soon.
How many cables you need is going to depend upon the total price. The total price of this, if you buy just one of each, is around $8.
I'm going to spare you the rest of this video and tell you, Randy never tells you about the blind test anymore. Just that he blind tested it and liked the generic one better, but the Audioquest had more bass. So for a bass head like Randy to say he thought the Audioquest had more bass but liked the generic cable better, either he's lying, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt, he's not, he's confused. Some people coming to my channel have said, stop doing reaction videos. Just do your own videos. The problem here is that this guy's got 180,000 subscribers. Probably 20 or 30,000 people are going to watch the video, maybe even more. And they're going to actually believe that these cables make a difference. It's people who want to believe. Those are the people why I'm making this video. Because they're weak and pathetic, useless members of society that are the most vulnerable. And my job is to protect those who are vulnerable. Here's a couple of analogies. Don't click on that link, Dad, for $200. That cream isn't going to cure your spinal stenosis. Click on that other link. That's the new air-cooled liquid tweeter I want, and it's on sale for only $3,700. Jesus Christ, Mom, don't give your social security number out to that guy over the phone. He doesn't know that the government has additional funds in a hidden account for you. He's just lying. I spend every penny you get from Social Security in my audio lifestyle. There's no way you have any more money left. Now, I truly hope this video was informative. If you don't get the point I'm trying to make, then I recommend you spend thousands of dollars on expensive cables, as it is only right to part a fool in their money. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment.